Hi there, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to your reading. Before we get right into it, I have a small announcement here that I'd like to make, and it's regarding the format of the readings that I'll be delivering, specifically for the mid portion of the month. So this reading that we're getting into now pertains to the 1st to the 15th approximately, and I generally have available on this channel a reading for the 15th to the 30th. Okay, so the way that I want to do it this month is I want to give the bulk of my time and my energy to the mid-monthly general readings. So that requires of me to reduce the amount of time and energy that I put into the private services that I offer, okay, private readings and things like that. So to do that, I've decided to form a subscription base for this mid-monthly reading, okay, that I'll be offering for all the signs around the 11th of October. So you can feel free to sign up for that mid-monthly reading to gain access once this video goes live. So right, watching this, you can click the link below in the description box that I provide, and that will link you to where you can save access to this mid-monthly reading. The price will be set at $222, okay, and all readings will be delivered to everyone who signs up on the 11th, okay, of October. So you'll get it just before the 15th of October, beginning the cycle to the second half of the month. Otherwise, thank you so very much for tuning in, everyone, and enjoy this first half of the month reading. Bye. Hi there, Scorpio. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is your beginning October reading. It will roughly span the 1st to the 15th of the month. Of course, though, energy is fluid. It may permeate a little before the 1st, a little after the 15th. Without further ado, Scorpio, let us get started here with your reading. I was meditating on your energy before I turned on the camera, and there was this feeling of there being multiple variables, okay, that you are almost testing in relation to one another in various places and various propensities. It's almost as if you have sort of like a pool of options, okay, of alternatives and different factors that you have to somehow understand the coinciding factor that links them all. And so it's this process, Scorpio, as I'm feeling it for you, of testing. I'm hearing match testing. It's like, is this a match? Is this a match? Okay, now what about this one and this one? Are they a match? And if they are a match, how does that affect how the other factors have to come into play? So it's like you're testing something. You're testing something out. And it could be, I'm hearing it could be deliberate, but it could also be in terms of perceiving actions, okay, and I'm hearing meditating on options, okay. Now, there's a point where you realize I can only test so much. I can only test so much, okay, and that is the point at which you begin to transform from the state of perceiving and I'm hearing premonition to accepting what comes of the action. I'm hearing of the consequences, okay, of the consequences of the sheer moment in which we accept that what comes, what happens, and it's a reflection of how we choose to transform forward. Okay, so there's a tremendous focus on matters of perception. I decided to lay all the cards out in thick stacks. The whole deck is on the table here. Okay, so I'm getting that you're working with momentous sort of factors here. It's not something, I'm hearing it's not something petty, and I'm hearing it's also not something pretty necessarily. What you're dealing with, and I'm getting that it's in chunks, okay? It's almost like chapters to the novel, okay? And the chapters are thick, but you've got to read through them all. You've got to address every chapter, and you're like, well, how do I pull it all together? In a way that's not just haphazard. It's not just right this sea of information, but it's a deliberate, and it's done with intention, and I'm hearing an integrity, and it's delivered in such a way that reflects my authenticity of character, of transformation. Okay, so it's almost like even perhaps a lineage of time. Okay, a lineage of time. I'm hearing distress. 8 of Wands. You have the 8 of Swords, the 8 of Wands, 2 8s. It was Sagittarius, I believe, who pulled 2 8s as well. Okay. And Sagittarius pulled the 8 of Wands as well. Okay. Scorpio. it's a shakeup. Whatever this is, whatever this moment is, there is a moment where it is a shakeup, and you decide, I'm ready for the shakeup. It's got to be a shakeup. It can't be anything less than a shakeup. Because what has been, I'm hearing, it's rumination. I've ruminated. But when do I make the room for the movement forward out of this room? And I'm getting that you're in this room. Okay, now I'm hearing pocket, a pocket. Let's see here. I'm hearing in hiding. Okay, Scorpio, okay, so take it as you will. Of course, general reading, you have some major players here on the table. You have the Emperor in reverse. You have the High Priestess, horizontally laid, looking up almost at what we don't know, what we don't see. Very interesting. She's looking up. She seems to be looking up at something very deliberate. Okay, very descript, deliberately, with intention. She's looking at something, almost as she's looking up on this table here, okay? And it's to the point where we question, well, what we're feeling, our guiding force that we understand is compelling us to draw ourselves out of this state of rumination, okay, of reflection, I'm hearing, is inherently mysterious. Draws us to a place where we don't know where we're going, but we know at the same time, at the very same time, there's a part of us that knows, that wills us forward. Okay, so I'm getting that you have your source, Scorpio. You have your source, and I'm making this configuration with my hands, so take that as you will. There is a focus on this, on this, I'm hearing this element, okay, this element. Now, I'm hearing maintaining action and maintaining force. Okay, specifically as it pertains to this configuration of the hand. This could be a yogic symbol, if I'm recalling. You have the Wheel of Fortune here on the left-hand corner, okay, right wedged, almost off the spread by this Emperor in reverse. I'm hearing premonition. This is a change of events, yes, shake-up, but you have expected it. Okay, you've expected it. It's that feeling where you're like, I'm no longer in the womb. Okay, I'm coming out, like, tick and talk. It's time to make it happen. I understand that what I'm leading myself into, leading myself forward towards, is not something that I will fully understand until I'm there. And even then, it's up to the viewer's discretion, okay? It's all a matter of how I perceive myself in every moment through this revival of self. It's beautiful, Scorpio. It's transformational. It speaks to something that you've wanted emotionally. Yes, it destabilizes a part of you, or a part of you that you configured, that you constructed in a certain way, that you figured, this defines me, okay, in perhaps a certain measure, with certain measure. But emotionally, it constricts me. It restricts me. I'm hearing heart valve. It restricts my ability to connect more deeply and emotionally, and I'm getting interconnectedness. How we share that emotional heart space with others. Okay, so on one hand, you understand, yes, it's shaking the grounds, okay, but it's making the room for movement forward, especially the flow of emotion. It's so beautiful. It's Scorpio, it's something you've wanted for so long. Oh my goodness, you've wanted this. Okay, now let us wipe the slate clean, but do not underestimate the power of this transformation, Scorpio. It's going to completely reshape the paradigm. Ooh, okay, flashing the Ace of Wands around here. Scorpio, I almost said Pisces. This is the mark of a new beginning. That is emotional, okay, and it's absolutely one that speaks to not only the newness of emotions, or the revival of emotions, but the release of emotions, okay? I can't help but smile for you, Scorpio. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. It's like a flower. It's like a flower. It's like a flower that it's something about the scent, okay, of the floral scent of spring. Like you understand, you feel this new beginning so much that you smell it, you taste it. Okay, let's get right into it. A Hierophant in reverse, in the deep past, the Empress in reverse, in the recent past. Two cards here in your current state, the Three of Cups in reverse, the Strength card in reverse. There's the Four of Wands upright in your advice. You have the Three of Pentacles in your near future. You have the Hanged Man. I mention Pisces. This is Pisces' card in the major arcana. The Hangman in reverse, the Father of Swords in reverse. Okay, Scorpio. The lines between Scorpio and Pisces are so very blurred. Okay, let's get right to it. The High Priestess. Okay, in the not the High Priestess, but the High Priestess is communicating here with the Hermit, very strongly so. And it's interesting because where you have this discerning sort of energy with the Hermit, it's almost like the Hermit is disarmed, okay, and must just simply, I'm hearing, surrender to the forces at hand, okay, that we hold internally. I'm hearing internal frequency. So it's like the rational workings of the mind. You understand that only got me so far. And I'm at the edge. I'm at the perforated edge where I don't just move forward, but I shift dimensions of how I move forward. Pisces got a very similar energy. Let's move further into it. 7 of Swords in reverse in your energetic pathway that leads you into your current state. Okay. Father of Cups in the environment. Father of Cups. It was, okay, was it Sagittarius that pulled the Father of Cups? Okay, nonetheless, the 3 of Swords in reverse in your final outcome. Beautiful! Oh my goodness, Scorpio, I am so happy for you. Okay, there's a reshaping. Okay, I'm hearing of the diaphragm, I'm hearing the diagram. Okay, as well, how it is that we configure our thoughts in relation to how we exist in relation to others. What is I'm hearing our mode of speaking, of transit, of communicating the emotions. Okay, tremendous focus on the emotions for you. Now, you may be dealing with another water sign, Father of Cups. Now, if this is not another individual, this is your very own propensity, Scorpio. It speaks to the propensity to feel. I'm hearing also to intuit. Okay, so speaking of intuition, nonetheless, you have the 2 of Pentacles in reverse in your theme, and the 5 of Cups in reverse in your theme right beneath that, the Wheel of Fortune popping out again, upright, overlaying the Emperor. Okay, Emperor in reverse. Scorpio, yes, it is destabilizing. That is the point. The point is this feeling of destabilization of what is otherwise secure, the safety net, the groundedness, even the independence in a certain way. We are sacrificing that in certain measure for the cohesion, okay, the harmony, the reciprocity that lies within the emotional realm. Yes, that redefines our paradigm, our world, but it sets us along a path that redefines also how we derive a sense of emotional satisfaction. Okay, and we understand that in a certain way, what was a form of stability for us, the Emperor mirroring the 5 of Cups in reverse, led us to a point of almost isolation, okay, of emotional stagnancy, yes, okay, stagnancy now, and hopefully not, always, hopefully not, but Scorpio, if you resonate with this message being, right, one of a transmutation to the emotional realm, there's a complete shift that redefines how you even view yourself as an individual in the name of, I'm hearing, for the sake of partnership, for the sake of seeing how you see yourself in relation to others, specifically perhaps another. Now, in the way that you want it, Scorpio, I'm hearing that, in the way that you want it emotionally, okay. You're thinking, if I want this heart-to-heart connection, I need to open the space to speak of matters that engage the frequency of feeling. And I'm hearing you're laying down the law. You're laying it all to rest, Scorpio. The many thoughts that have contradicted in a certain way your very personal sense of conviction that you have not spoken about in a certain propensity, perhaps for a number of you, I'm feeling that you held in a way back. I'm hearing regret that you held on to very strongly. It's not a matter of knowing what your personal sense of conviction has been. It's a matter of how I speak about it, how I act on it in a vocal way as well, in relation to others, and specifically the law as well. Perhaps for a number of you have the 7 of Swords mirroring the 3 of Swords in reverse. But Scorpio, emotions reign here in this land where you pursue what it means to be not only a solitary figure in that alliance, but what it means to be involved in the a network of emotions, I'm hearing the gift of reciprocity, where we give and where we take, where we have, again, that heart-to-heart connection. I'm hearing that valve, the heart valve, where the energy flows, right? Not only through us, but through to who we feel so deeply connected to, that we engage in a sense of vulnerability with. You realize the pressure has surmounted, the wave has peaked, and that washes over any self-doubt in any way, any perception of self-doubt, any questioning of the rational mind. It lays it all to rest. There's a quietness. There's a quietness in that moment where you just sighed so deeply, and not only that you sighed and that you reside with these feelings internally, but it's almost as if you're taking this propensity, these emotions, and you're setting them right next to you, almost as their own being, as their own embodiment of sorts. Right? It's almost like we're coming to school, right? Show and tell. It's like I see you taking the hand of an individual, of a child with you, so, another being that is a reflection of you in some kind of way, Scorpio. You bring them with you, and it's a presentation of who you have been from the inside out. And it's that moment, Scorpio, yet again, I'm making this configuration with my hands, whatever this may mean to a number of you. Okay, taking heed. You're here, I'm out to play. And there's this release, my goodness, this release, Scorpio, for you. I'm hearing time has told and truth tells more. Okay, whatever that may mean to you, Scorpio, there's something to do about the elongation of spirit, of what we've known, what we've felt. It has not been a question. It has not been a question of how much I know it. Okay, it's been a question of how much I can get my rational mind on board with what I know and what I feel. But this knowing now is so strong that it's like I'm hearing the wires, okay, the synapses of the intellectual rational mind are frayed. Okay, they're like, we can't do anything about this. we can't rectify the situation. Okay, Scorpio is I'm hearing has surfaced, has resurfaced, has surmounted the capacity. Okay, the load. And so, but you're okay with this. It's like a Mayday situation. I'm feeling it as a Mayday sort of situation of I'm feeling so much. This is all I can feel. This is all I can do. I have to do something about how I feel now. Yes, it's like that feeling of the peaking, the rise in an emotional way. But you're so comfortable stepping into, crawling out of this sort of shell, right? Hermit in reverse. This extroversion of your being. It's almost like you, in the image I'm getting is, in the movies, right? There's this certain depiction of a character in a certain way, right? Maybe the character's shy in the beginning of the film. Okay, it's kind of shy, kind of, I'm hearing it's like not really outspoken. Okay, in a certain way, and so no one would have guessed. Okay, for this character to make a certain, I'm hearing, profession or act or to express themselves in a certain way, right? But then comes this one moment in the movie, right? This one scene where the character completely defies every expectation of even its own rationalized perceptions of self, right? It steps into this moment and it takes on this moment where it's just called upon by itself, to its true self. And it's in that moment where it's not asking itself, how do I open this door? where's the key? There's no fumbling. There's just simply almost the dissolving of boundaries and barriers, Scorpio, that have been constructed by your very own mind. And it's that moment where you realize, and you just feel so comfortable with with the release of the understanding, the perceptions that we've held. Not that we then understand that that's what it was, but then in the moment where we realize we are dissolving this, that you feel so, I'm hearing shaken. You feel shaken, but not in a way that destabilizes you to the point of feeling uncomfortable with the change. I don't feel that you are necessarily uncomfortable. I feel that the feeling is so strong that you're being taken by it. Okay, to just live yourself through this moment of meeting yourself, of bringing all of you to the table. Right? And so it's that moment in, right, sort of like show and tell, where I see you taking this individual by the hand and sort of bringing them with you and saying, this is also me. And whatever that may mean for you, right, in whatever world that you're living in the world that I am now accepting, this is me. And in every world that I've ever existed in or participated in or perceived participating in, this has always been me. This will always be me. And it's now time to reside and stand by that sheer value of accepting who I am. And I'm hearing, and who I want to represent. Scorpio, this energy is so powerful. It's so potent. Oh my goodness, whatever it is that you're coming to, it's like you cannot, no, there's no stopping it, right? There's no before even, right, the intellectual rational mind could say, oh wait, what? You're already there, 10 paces ahead, Scorpio, embodying this, living through it. It's so beautiful. Okay, now let's get to the other energies here. We have, again, right, the Hierophant in reverse and in the deep past, who's chirping almost over at the Empress in reverse. Deep past, recent past. Okay. Now, in your current state, yes, we are seeing strength in reverse, the Three of Cups in reverse. It's a principle of connectedness, interconnectivity with others in an emotional way. And the ways in which we have entertained a certain level of emotional satisfaction in the past no longer does it for us. We realize it's not taking us where we want to go. Okay, where we want to go is threaded by truth of, I'm hearing, integrity of character. And it's a matter of putting the pieces together of who I am that then allow me to construct the values that I want to share with others. But before I stand up in a certain way for myself, I can't stand in relation, right, to others, to who I, right, feel in a certain way. I'm here, I resemble, I reflect, I correlate with, okay, I correlate with, like correlating factors. Yes, I mean, there may be factors that you feel connect you to certain, I'm hearing, social groups, okay, in a certain way. But you're like, am I living for the social groups? Okay, am I awaiting their delivery of a certain, I mean, package of emotional satisfaction? Or am I going to take that process unto myself, unto myself, and awaken to the fact that only I can give myself that. It doesn't matter at the end of the day who I'm interacting with. It's who I am within that interaction. And yet again, the integrity of my character that I uphold in that moment of interaction that lays the landscape, I'm hearing the scape for true emotional satisfaction that carries itself through, right? That just flows from us, where we're not trying to necessarily find and configure, I'm hearing entrapment, how it is that we are to derive a sense of emotional satisfaction from our bindings, okay? And you have two threes here. The Three of Cups, the Three of Swords, right? There is this question. And yeah, you have three threes. Dear Scorpio, three threes. The Three of Pentacles as well in your near future. Okay, so it is a question of connectivity. And I'm hearing legal bounds. What defines our relationship to others in an emotional way yet again? And how does the relationship that is defined affect, and the nature of that definement in a certain way, affect how it is that we derive our sense of emotional, I'm hearing clarity, and also satisfaction. But not only the cause and effect, not only what we get from it emotionally, but how we feel as the receiver of what we get from what we participate in. Okay, as it's aligned with who we are. So, there's a focus here for you, Scorpio. I'm hearing Capricorn. Okay, so Capricorn coming through. There may be a Capricorn or Capricorn energy in reference here specifically as I'm pointing to this Four of Wands. And perhaps this overlaying of the Strength card energies. You're being heated, Scorpio, to maintain the focus of the vision. Not of what is understandable, but of what is perceivable, okay, even. But what you have held so clearly intact in your mind, in your mind's eye, through the whole process, the whole way through. I'm getting this is something yet again that has been very clear to you. This is not something, oh, I don't know. Do I know? Do I not know? This is something that you, in terms of, I'm getting as well in an esoteric way, in a philosophical way, as well in an emotional way, in an intuitive way, you have come to terms with, you have acknowledged, and you're now carrying that acknowledgement forth in a different, in different measure. So the action that's taken upon this vision, okay, is the focus now, how we're building upon this vision. But you're being beckoned, Scorpio, to construct around this vision. Okay, to construct around this vision. I'm hearing the bearings of this vision. And meditation is such a key focus here for you. And I was drawn to the sodalite stone here, which speaks of meditation. And maintaining the focus, the mind's eye vision. What is it that I see? And it's almost like it's like the feeling of birth, okay? And like in the delivery room, right? The mother has to keep the focus, right? It's like the bullseye, almost buffering out even her own physical senses, her own physical sensations. The physical body almost has to reach outside of itself, herself. Okay, I said itself, so take it as you will. But in order to reach the point of transformation, outside of the scape of what this transformation means in the moment. Okay, Scorpio. So it's almost like it's like an out-of-body experience, and it requires of you. It's like there could be so many factors, right? So many variables. There could be, right? It's like a lot of white noise, static. And it's a test, and it's a question of how much you can zero it all down to what matters fundamentally to you, what has mattered fundamentally to you, what is your strength, what is your emotional fortitude, how much, Scorpio, you recognize your emotional I'm hearing propensity to create. That's your point of satisfaction. That's where things begin to flow. That's where the energy begins to flow. And I'm getting that, right, in a certain way, it's like a there's this feeling of a disorientation. Okay, it's like I'm feeling a little bit disoriented, right? Like I'm focusing on getting out of my body so that I can, right, make a transition, maintaining this same identity in body, but right, redefining at the same time both periods in the process, both I'm hearing pockets of experience, moments of experience in the process. So it's like a time-traveling sort of energy, Scorpio, that I'm getting here. And it requires of you to it's mind-bending, okay, but also testing emotionally to the sense of strength and fortitude and resilience to maintain the alliance with this vision that you hold and that you've held. Now, I'm hearing maintaining the structure. You are, at the same time, right, as much as you're being beckoned to maintain the vision, it's almost like at the same time, right, you remember, I'm still in the physical dimension. I'm still existing within this third dimension. Not only of what I'm experiencing, but of what I will experience. And so it's not about forsaking this physical dimension. Yes, right, this vision, this spirituality, the desire, okay, is of impending focus. But at the same time, it's kind of like, well, right, it needs its channel, it needs its method, it needs its medium. And the stabilizing force, the question of how do we, right, bring this vision, how do we translate this vision into the third dimension is your question, is your concern, okay? In the near future, I'm getting like about, I'm hearing 13th, 14th of October, okay, of October. Now, we have, okay, Scorpio, this energy with Pisces is, I'm getting this feeling of I'm hearing time, okay, time ticking. It's like I'm here on the clock, okay, you understand, they understand. If this is another individual, you both understand. Time is carrying you forward to the point where time no longer exists. Okay, the boundaries of the frames of time no longer apply. Neither do those of space. Okay, I'm getting that as well. It's a question of when do we awaken to this? By way of acknowledging it, accepting it, even though we don't understand it. Where do we confront this unknown truth? Okay. And understand that it's at that point that we step along this path of transformation. At what point do we accept? I'm hearing child rearing. At what point do we accept what we are bringing from within us to be shared with others? Okay, and so yet again, there's this focus on this inversion, I'm hearing the sharing space, I'm hearing the home space, the home life, the emotional values, the vulnerability. At what point are we ready for that? Because it requires, I'm hearing this retraction, this act of retracting, okay, a certain way, I'm hearing composure, a certain way of having conducted, I'm hearing diaphragm, the communication, dialogue, of communicating what is so deep, what is so, I'm hearing heartfelt. We understand that, right, to carry it from within us out in an outwards way, we must reshape our role and our means and our method of playing it, taking it on. as the messenger of ourself. So it's about delivery, Scorpio, and how it is that you conduct professions, communication of love, of harmony, of peace, of the desire for that internally, and how, by way of that internal resonance, how that is reflected within your and amongst your interpersonal relationships within the emotional context. So, okay, now let us move back into the deep past with the recent past of the Empress in reverse. Scorpio, there's perhaps this theme of conventionalism, okay, of what has its bearings of right and wrong in certain social groups, and so I'm hearing in certain practices, okay, and practice groups, okay, I'm hearing practice variables. There is a certain, I'm hearing standard and idealism of what it means to substantiate ourselves as a creative individual. What does creativity mean? What does abundance mean? What does fertility mean? What does birth mean? There's this theme absolutely of birth, okay? And furthermore, what does it mean to be the creator of what we create? And you're taking this principle and you're carrying it out from the context of a societal engagement of values to that which is just so very personal to you. And you actually have 1, 2, 3, 4 threes here. Not 3, but 4. And it's all speaking, it's all funneling to this point of creation. This liberation of our capacity to acknowledge what we want to create and to accept that and to flow with that. Understanding that, right, it's a matter of all of us flowing through. Okay, now I'm getting the divine feminine for a number of you, a divine feminine, okay? And this, the element of femininity, the yin principle, okay? The energy of yin, okay? And we all hold those two propensities, right? The yin, the yang, the masculine, the feminine. We all have that form of expression held within us. And so there's a question of it, okay? And there has been a question not of how much it exists, but in what way we are to share this. I'm hearing this gift, this propensity to feel. I'm hearing the nuances of feeling that I'm hearing substantiate our cause. So whatever this femininity, this reference to the feminine, I'm hearing divine feminine, divine masculine, so take it as you will, Scorpio, but this referencing to the principle of femininity. Okay, and what it means, and right, the feminine being related to the water element, or being related to nurturing, healing, receptive energies, okay, vulnerable energies in a certain way as well. In what ways do we take on, okay, this propensity in ways that coincide with what we feel to be our greater purpose, what we feel we are here to create, and understanding that there's I'm hearing a pivotal makeup of who we are that engages both the yin and the yang, the masculine and the feminine. Okay, but there's been this I'm hearing non-disclosure. There's been this sort of I'm hearing compartmentalization in a certain way of this propensity, of this vulnerability, of this femininity, yet again, okay, coming through, the propensity to feel almost in such a way where I'm getting that if you may have been involved in, for a number of you, it could be a marriage, okay, you have the Hierophant, speaks of conventional, constitutional marriage, conventional systems, okay, and also of wisdom in a certain way, okay, like, the Hierophant is a very wise sort of energy, but it's more based in the third dimension. It's more factual. It's more rigid, rather than the High Priestess, who is also very wise, holds this knowledge, this body of knowledge that is almost boundless, right? It's almost a Neptunian sort of knowing, okay, all-seeing sort of knowing. But the Hierophant has its, I'm hearing its conformations. Okay, this sort of a grid and outline by which it knows what it knows. And this is Taurus's card, okay, in Major Arcana. So Taurus individual may be involved somehow, and this is Aries' card, the Empress, as well. So Taurus and Aries, but for a number of you, I'm feeling that this is it's symbolizing this. I'm hearing protraction. Okay, protraction. Okay, procreation for a number of you as well. Okay, within the parameters of expectation in a certain way that just didn't sit right with you, and you're like, this is not what I want to create. This is not how I want to create. This is not doing it for me. This is not how I want to get it on. Okay. In order to speak to my potential as a creator, I've got to reach that place of I'm hearing compulsion, where I feel the feeling to do it. Okay, and to get to that place, it requires of you to release the expectations that you've taken on in a certain way by way of perhaps others, how others view and perceive your role as a creator in a certain way, your propensity to create. I'm hearing levels, right? To what extent? And I'm getting that you've realized, okay, deep past, recent past, that there is no characterization of who you are and what you are here to create. And it's not something that's measured. It's not something that's labeled or identified or discerned by way of the logical, rational mind. It is just simply experienced by you, by way first of accepting it, the possibility for it, the presence of it already within you that resides. So it's a matter of creative potential, Scorpio, that is linked to a propensity to feel what we feel in the degree, to the degree that we do. Okay, and how much it is that we give that voice, okay, to those feelings in a way that is, I'm hearing, enacted, in principle, in action. Okay. So there's this coming out of the shell a little bit, Scorpio, absolutely here, and it may be defying certain systems, bodies of knowledge, of thought that may have transcended over time, okay? I'm getting, it's almost, it's like a familial, it's like an archaic sort of feeling, system through time that you just understand, there's something about this that doesn't sit right with me, okay? And it speaks to me, and I am, for my own discovery in every moment, and I'm not going to try and, I'm hearing, box in what is wild, what is also impulsive, what is, I'm hearing, transitory, to find where the river feeds. I've got to flow with it. Okay, Scorpio, so meditation may be a key here for you. Absolutely. Any activities having to do with water, okay, the water element, but meditation coming through very, very strongly for you. And I'm making this symbol again with my hand. So perhaps yoga and whatever this may mean for you specifically, personally, may be a focus. Okay, thank you so very much, Scorpio, for tuning in. Have a beautiful October. I was about to say happy October. Happy birthday to you, Scorpios. Those of you in October. All right, we're just reaching the end of the Libra season as this reading ends, okay? So nonetheless, thank you so much again for tuning in. I'll be back with your mid-October readings, so stay tuned for them. Notes on that in the description box below, as well as preceding this video. Nonetheless, thanks so much again. And I highly recommend you to check into your rising, ascendant, or moon sign as well, as oftentimes those may provide you with further insights into your situation. For example, I know I resonate a lot with my moon sign, sometimes also with my rising ascendant, which is Scorpio. So take it as you will, right? If you're compelled to watch a certain sign, there may be messages there for you. At the end of the day, we are all signs, right? We're born beneath the constellation of the universe. So within the constellation of the universe, rather. And so every constellation is present somewhere in our chart. And it's just a matter of in what propensity and where and how and all those factors at play. But at the end of the day, yet again, right, they're all there, they're all present, and they're all playing a part. So if you feel that you're compelled to watch another video that is not necessarily your sun, maybe not even your moon or your rising ascendant, then feel free to. Okay, let's see. If you don't know your rising ascendant or moon sign, then you may want to compute it. Okay, you can do that via the link below in the description box. And you do need your quasi-exact birth time to compute your exact rising ascendant to have it for certain. But you may be able to get your moon without an exact birth time if you were born on a day where the moon wasn't shifting signs. Okay, so nonetheless, thank you so very much again, Scorpio. Have a beautiful end of October, end of September, and beginning of October, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Hi there, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning into your video. Again, this is a general announcement, and it pertains to the monthly readings and mid-monthly readings. A reminder, so for this month, I'll be doing it a little differently. Usually, right, I have two part readings for the month. I have from the 1st to the 15th and the 15th to the 30th. So the early portion, first half of the month readings, and that which pertains to the latter half of the month readings. Okay, so for this month, I want to be able to give the bulk of my time to the general readings. Okay, and so to do that, I'm going to need to reduce the amount of energy and time that I put into the private readings that I do and the private services and so on and so forth. So to do that, I've decided to make accessible the mid-monthly readings by way of subscription. Okay, and so you'll be able to access that via my website, alchemyandyou.com. Once this video goes live, it's available on the website. So you can click the link in the description box below, or simply go to alchemyandyou.com, and there should be a banner there at the very top. You can click that and subscribe for your spot to receive the mid-monthly reading. Okay, and I'll be delivering that to everyone on October 11th. So feel free to check it out if you'd like more details. The link in the description box below. Thank you so much again for tuning in. Loving the light to you all on this exciting journey forward, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.